let me continue that with your ask from the budget. What would your...
if
you want to make it expectation, I'm fine by that.
So I think that a continued fiscal discipline, some amount of acknowledgement that next year the pay commission will be due with some arrears because the counter has started. And therefore, this year the consolidation needs to be faster than would have been required if the pay commission was not due. And second, I think continued investments, some pickup in roads capex because that has been disappointingly weak. Some increased investments in urban infrastructure because that's absolutely critical going forward. And I guess, from an ask perspective, there's nothing more to ask.
So you're expecting pay commission to hit us only in FY28. It's not an FY27.
Yes, that is the term, right? So the pay commission has a term. That term, I think, will end about March of 27.
Yeah, it ends this year, so perhaps it will come. Sajid, ask and expectation.
Yeah, so you have a finance commission this year and a pay commission next year. Ask, I think, is quite simple. That I think there are limited degrees of freedom on the fiscal. So I think gradual, credible consolidation, keep the fiscal math clean. But I think the big expectation and ask is not on the fiscal math, right? It's on the reform agenda. And I think what you've seen in the last 3-4 months is a pickup in reforms, and this is a great opportunity to accentuate that process. What I'd be looking for is there's 2 high-level committees on deregulation, right? And I think this needs to be one of the avenues in which several deregulation measures are announced. We focused a lot on internal deregulation. What I'm hoping, expecting is there's external deregulation. What do I mean by that? We've signed a slew of FTAs. There'll be one more with the European Union soon. To facilitate that and to exploit that, you need to clean up your customs import system. So what I'm hoping is get a significant simplification of customs duties, the whole regime, not just rationalization, but simplification, that import duties come down. Remember the old adage, an import tariff is the same as an export tax.
Duty.
If you want to push exports, you have to rationalize the import front. We're seeing some progress on QCO. So I think a whole theme around cleaning up the import side so that we can exploit these FTAs and drive labor-intensive export-led growth. So I would think, for me, it's more about the reforms this year than the fiscal math.
I heard about export-led growth in my college days as well. I heard about labor-intensive exports from my college.
But the government
days,
has walked the talk in the
for
last 18 months because right from the 2 budgets ago to the last budget, a focus on labor-intensive exports, customs duties are still high.
I know we have a PLI for textiles, but we haven't heard much.
But the cut on the removal of QCO on VSF, PTA, all of those have been remarkable changes.
So import tariffs have to come down more, and we've signed a slew of FTAs. So I think at least there's clear progress in that direction.
Okay, Gautam, expectation and ask.
Yeah, again, look, I'll agree with most of what Nilkant and Sajid said, but on top of that, this is still the early part of the 5-year term. So this is a good period, not just to talk about reforms, but also an opportunity to lay down a roadmap, both in terms of fiscal consolidation, not just headline, but how the resources will come when pay commission happens, or how will the resources come for pickup in capex. Like we've had a controlled capex spending because of fiscal pressures, but in the next 3 to 4 years, how do we drive capex up? So the roadmap, this is a good time to lay it out. That will be very, very interesting.
Okay, are you expecting that? A roadmap on the fisc?
The roadmap has been given. So the FY31 target, the debt to GDP target is given. Perhaps what Gautam is asking for is, what does it mean for tax to GDP?
So that 50%, is what maybe give you an year-on-year target in terms of debt to GDP. Now, the most important question, in spite of the fact that we are, breaking the time limit, I wanted to ask you, what is your expectation in terms of the US-India trade signing? Is it something that you're expecting in a quarter or so? And do your growth forecasts stand even if that doesn't happen?
Yeah. I've been saying for a while, and I continue to say that. I don't think the US trade deal really matters for my growth forecast. I'm alarmed and amazed at how meaningful people think it is. I don't think so.
At least the last few months have proven that it is not as disastrous as people thought it was 6 months ago.
Yeah. And given that the Supreme Court is now the Supreme Court of the US is now likely to deem the IEEPA tariffs as unconstitutional, I don't think both sides are in a hurry You look at the US president's Truth Social posts on how damaging it will
be if it's
and all
written
of that.
back.
So basically, he gets a sense that the court is ruling against him. So now the US government will be forced to levy a flat tariff on everyone, in which case there's no point India ceding ground on anything if there's no benefit to be had. Will there be using that Lindsey Graham bill, an extra Russian oil tariff and an extra Iranian oil tariff? That's between them. The remarkable thing yesterday, which the new US ambassador said, the Pax Silica, it confirms what observations were showing, that if Intel and Tata Electronics can sign memorandums of understanding, it is clearly with the US government's blessing. If Apple is expanding big time in India, if Google and Microsoft and Amazon are investing big time in India, these are all signs that India definitely is part of the tech hardware ecosystem as they see it as a counter to China. So if those things are on the way, the rest of it is, I think, enough.
Well, I hope so. I didn't feel that confident when I heard this morning that tax on Iran and the way in which a lot of small exporters are getting worried. No, every
it
day
is
brings
$1.3
a little
billion.
bit of bad news.
No. But this is our own fear. See, remember that for India, Iran is far less strategically important than Russia is.
I agree.
Right?
For KRBL or for that specific company, it's a very big deal. So, that same thing with, even the Indo-US. It's very big for Gokuldas. It's very big for some specific entity.
Specific companies. But when you're thinking about...
and that is a lot of workers. That is a lot of laborers in Surat.
Absolutely.
A lot of laborers in Coimbatore. So we have to worry.
Absolutely. I think we have to worry about them. But when we are doing our GDP forecasts in a $4 trillion economy with 60 crore workers, even if it is 15 lakh workers, that is 15 lakh workers, right? But it's a 60 crore workforce.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for re-inspiring confidence in me and my viewers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.